Everyone is buzzing about an impending post-COVID inflation rate. And since this definitely affects real estate, I thought I'd do a little digging. According to Chief Economic Advisor to the White House, Jared Bernstein, inflation can be described as the rate of change in prices over a period of time. With prices rising, this can negatively affect households if families are not receiving a comparable raise in wages, meaning prices are going up and people aren't getting paid more. This inevitably results in a decreased purchasing power. So there are two factors that I want to get into that are affecting the inflation rate right now, and they are pent-up demand and a supply chain disruption. Okay, so pent-up demand is what is happening as the market opens itself and prices begin to reassert themselves. Like going to a restaurant. Being a New Yorker, this is one of our favorite macro amenities. Walking to the restaurant, walking to the theater, walking to the music venue, walking to the gym, right? But as evidenced by all these for lease signs across the city, there are less businesses here than they were before COVID. So with the market opening up to full capacity and there not being as many establishments as there were before COVID for us to choose from, this may mean a longer wait to get into these places. And businesses, especially after this year of withered profits, businesses may choose to respond to this demand by increasing their prices. Okay, so that was number one, pent-up demand. Number two is an inflation rate due to a disruption in the chain of supply. The United States gets most of what it needs to manufacture its products from other countries. Things like microchips. We need microchips to make our smart devices work, right? And we happen to get most of our microchips from China. So with this strain on international borders, it's taking longer for microchips to get here. So let's take a car dealership, for example, and say that ordinarily the dealership is able to meet consumer demand and supply 200 cars. But because the dealership is waiting on, or not the dealership, the manufacturer is waiting for these microchips from China, they're now only able to supply 100 cars. And what businesses are finding is that the increase in unmet demand is allowing them the space to increase their prices. And after this year of stalled commerce and hardly any concessions for businesses' overhead costs, what business wouldn't raise their prices to compensate for the losses from last year? Right? So circling back to real estate and how this inflation affects real estate. Inflation just means higher prices, and it's exactly the pent-up demand and the disruption in the chain of supply that are causing homes to sell like wildfire. Because during COVID, there was a moratorium on development, meaning no one could build anything. So as soon as the market opened, people rushed to buy whatever it was that was available. And homes that were selling for 300K or were valued, homes that were valued at 300K were selling for much higher than that because people were outbidding each other so that they could secure the acquisition. But this is not all bad. There is an opportunity in all of this. You can take advantage of this moment by buying before the inflation rates get too high, and by doing so, gaining more equity within your home. So let's say you buy a house for 300K, and 2 years later, because of pent-up demand and inflation, the value of your home goes up to 320K. The value of your home and your equity within the home went up 20K just because of inflation. And you can make that equity work for you. If you need a refresher on what that process is, take a look at my video, Make Equity Work for You, and also a video entitled How to Use Your Home or Your Equity Within Your Home to Pay for Your Home.